Man, this 3 in the morning shit is fucking killing me, man. This is, I don't even know how many weeks. She's just so miserable. Now she's been on that medicine a few days. She's supposed to go back to the vet today. She just cannot get comfortable. It's horrible. But my joints are hurting so bad. So, yeah, when she wakes me up, I cannot go back to sleep. You know, it's like at that point where you've had enough sleep that your brain's kind of awake, but you can't get comfortable. You can just keep tossing and turning and you can't get comfortable. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired. There's so many days in a row of this. And then in the middle of the day, like if I lay down and I'll start falling asleep, for sure. I'm so exhausted. As soon as I fall asleep, one of these dogs will jump up and start barking every fucking time. I was like, oh my God, I cannot get any sleep. I don't know. She's just so miserable. But I wanted to talk about this reincarnation cycle thing. Because I find this kind of a fascinating kind of thing, you know, and I think it's hard for us to know, anybody to know, like most definitely, this is definitely what it is. This is definitely how it is. Because, you know, there's possibilities. There's always possibilities. And we are the creators. So to me, it seems like if you think about as a soul, you know, you are, you know, your energy. And so energy has to start forming and becoming itself. It has to, you know, get some sort of consciousness of its own self, you know, to develop itself. And, you know, you don't just become like the idea of just like a soul is just like, you know, snap and your soul and you just go into a body, you go have a life, you get this test to see if you're going to say Jesus is Lord. And then after that's over, you just go up and it's all done and you succeeded. You know, I mean, it seems so silly that the people will believe that kind of concept, that makes more sense than the other, because the other seems way more logical to me. I swear, I'm thinking about starting to wear sunglasses or something. I can't help, because I can't see. It just, my eyes automatically start trying to focus. And it's really hard because I just got to try not to look. So, anyways, if you're a soul and you go into a body, before you even get to that point of being able to be a body, we have soul, we have energy that is, you know, like I said before, it's like, I think some people call, like, there's elemental, like there's different forms of energy. And I always see it as, it's like when it's beginning to, you know, that it can attach to different things and it creates emotion and stuff like that. That's why you have like this energy that goes around that can attach to you, that is, can be super, super negative energy or something. It is not in balance either, you know? So if you're pulling negative energy in, then you're pulling a lot of heavy energy on yourself. And a lot of times those people, they will seem like sick, that they're carrying a heavy load. Is a lot of energy. And when you start healing yourself, you start repelling it, you know, pushing it away. And you do this stuff without thinking about it. Just like, you know, you don't think about like, oh, I better take a breath. 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 Oh, I better go poop. I better go poop. You know, like your body just tells you like, oh, you better go do this. Oh, you better go do that. And your body just sits there and breathes by itself. Your heart just keeps going all by itself. And it is not having you tell it what to do. And that is how kind of automatically you do things, you know, in general life. You're just kind of like on autopilot. These people, so they'll go through life, you know, just like on autopilot. And so in a reincarnation cycle, so if you're going and you get to the point of like, okay, that you're a soul that is going to, you know, begin to try and form itself, to understand itself, and to grow and gain identity and understanding of the world, to go towards that kind of, you know, everything wants to be creating, you know. So your soul wants to be creating because you are a part of God, and God is creation. God is constantly wanting to create. So you have that little bit inside of you of wanting to be a creator, of wanting to expand and stuff like that. So when you get to the point of being in soul, like some people could start out, you know, like in the thing I could never really with the Buddhist stuff, like I claimed I was a Buddhist because it was the only one that I knew of that said reincarnation. Every fucking thing constantly had to be like, oh, what's your religion? What's your religion? It's like, what's your job? What's your religion? Like everybody just wants to put you in these boxes. It's like, how do you know? Does that tell you anything about me? Like, what does that tell you? Do you know me as a person if I have all these labels? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But so for so long, yeah, it was like unacceptable. It felt like if you didn't have some religion, you know, and I was already thought it was a wackadoo. But I could never get that whole thing about what they, you know, like you could be a bug. How was it? It was like you'd be a bug, but then once you went and you became a human, or bug, whatever it was, the stuff, it didn't make any sense to me. Because the way I see it is that a soul has consciousness. You could, once your soul decides it's going to, you know, start incarnating, that you would go into, you know, you maybe go into an easy incarnation. You may go and say, hey, I just want to be a grizzly bear. I'm just going to go see what's life like on a grizzly bear. I want to go on Earth. It's really nice and foresty. I want to go there. I want to be a grizzly bear and go and just experience life, you know, as a part of nature. I mean, we've all been in parts of nature. We've all been parts of everything. And so you go into these different experiences. And when you go into like a human experience, especially like from what I understand about like Earth, it's like it's a school system. And so if you go into the Earth one, I don't know if you go in and you say, okay, well, I'm going to do a contract. I'm going to go and I'm committing that when I start this Earth cycle, I'm going to go through the whole system. I'm going to do the whole thing. What that whole system is, I don't know, 100 lives, a certain kind of lives, a certain amount of time, and how many lives you got to fit in that time, a certain amount of different, I mean, I don't know what the thing is. When you come into this kind of, it's a certain density, it's a certain kind of experiences, and they have different experiences. From what I understand, that this one makes us unique because we have emotions and we have hormones and stuff like that. Like that's an extra that we have to get a handle on, and it makes everything seem so much more real and so much more powerful and so much more painful. So when you can get a handle on your emotions, and you can, you know, master your life and your potential and stuff much better. And so when you go into, this is just all day. I'm giving her medicine. I just don't know what to do. It's horrible. So when you go into that, like if people are saying, okay, so you get trapped in this reincarnation cycle. Okay, so that's the point of having conscious awareness. So if you go into this reincarnation cycle, think of this. You are a soul who has, you would be considered a new soul. You've done some lives as some animals or something. You've experienced life as trees. You've experienced life as air, you know, all these different things. And you decide, okay, I'm gonna try this human thing. And, you know I can set things out of balance, and I got to pull this balance back in, this karmic thing that they talk about. It's this energetic balance. And so when you go into those lives, then you could also, I could see how you could come out of it in a controlled kind of thing. If you don't have clarity of your own abilities, your own sovereignty, your own power, that you could feel compelled to go back into an incarnation that you wouldn't have necessarily wanted. And that could answer why we have so many people in just like horrible, horrible situations, because maybe there is an element of force in this controlled thing, because we can see that it's controlled. So how beyond the control of this physical, it is likely that it is controlled on the metaphysical, that they are, you know, compelling people to go back in and showing them their life review. Especially this guy was talking about guides as being assigned. You know, guides aren't assigned. You don't go through like a boot camp. You go like soul boot camp, and then they're, oh, hey, this guy, he's your mentor or something. It's not like that. You could have, you know, at certain times when you're having a hard time, you could have some teachers or, you know, people who are there for those services that would help you, but they are not, you know, like guides in the sense of like, oh, well, you did this wrong, so we're going to put you back in and you're going to go back in and fix this. You have free will. So in this, if it is like a reincarnation cycle and you die and you go up and they're telling you like, well, you know, look at what you did to this person, look at what you did to that person, and now look at how you affected them. You got to go back in, you got to fix this. And so they keep their souls just rotating through. And that's why they don't care how many of us they kill, because they know they're just going to put you right back in. Makes sense. And so that's the point of having the conscious awareness. So when you die and they start talking to you, you know, like, I don't have to go if I don't want to go. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. This is my buggy. I make the decisions over me. And you don't. But that's where you have to have that conscious awareness to break free of any cycles, of any control. There should be no other controller over you. You are a sovereign being. And so then when you die, that you break free from the system and say, no, I'm not. I'm going to do what I want to do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go meet some people over here on this little planet we created. It's all jungle and all ocean front. So we're going to go over there and spend, you know, a few eons. You know, you can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to go into reincarnation cycles all the time. But if it were that you go in and you do a contract, like, okay, I'm going to do the earth one. Well, you don't get much benefit if you just do one or two. So you do a cycle. You do the whole thing. And then this is the graduation for those souls. So if they went in as a newer soul to this kind of intense experience, which is probably unlikely, but if they have been in this their whole, you know, soul life, then this is the breaking free. This is their opportunity for ascension, because you have gone through all these lives. You have learned. You have to connect with yourself. You have to connect inside and you have to begin to trust what you don't. They got you so focused on the physical that you are cutting off what's out beyond the physical. So you have to, that comes from inside. It comes from turning yourself on, your soul, getting in touch with your soul and knowing it's in there. That's how you get that connection. And so, you know, all of the stuff, every single thing is all an individual thing. It's a person's individual journey. Is their individual ascension. Is their individual consciousness to become aware of itself. And, I mean, it's just as getting said, like in all these different kind of things that I'm just, you know, sometimes I'll turn on something and I'll be interested, like, oh, I'd like to see what this person's saying. And it will just be like, you know, okay, people, you know, we're just waiting. We've got the holy Master Jesus Christ is coming back. He's going to save us. You know, God's saving us. You know, this is the work of God, what's happening. But it's people's idea of God is just, it's all skewed. It's all like a fairy tale, like a little storybook. that's what it is too. And it's not like that. Like, this is the universe, God, all of us, everything, all that is it's a cosmic experience that's happening to the whole system. And in the system, it's like there's an advancement, and humans have well, they're breaking free from this. They are consciously expanding themselves. It's a huge evolution for human beings and all the souls that are in the human beings, and for the planet itself. Like, this is a huge, huge shift. And, you know, it's not a storybook. There is a hand of God, but the hand of God is in all things. It is time. It is everything, you know. In time, in the idea of time was a created kind of a limitation for us, and it's controlled, but really there is the timing. If you take away the clock from it, the timing of everything is interlinked, is all connected. Like this, we are the domino effect, you know? So when you can get, you know, come into alignment with time and accept time and time's parameters and understand how we're all connected and time has to move through us all. And like the butterfly effect, you know, it has an effect on us all. Then you can come into harmony with time. But, you know, they've manipulated it, and it gets people so messed up. I mean, there's so many things going on right now with time. And then you hear these people, you know, freaking out over things haven't happened yet, and timing of stuff and everything. Like, they're fighting time because they're really caught up on time. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me. Sometimes trying to explain stuff that's in my head, it is not that easy. But, yeah, it just seems like all of these people are not all these people, but a lot of people are just waiting on, you know, a savior. And you can't just sit and focus on, you know, the dramas that are going on around us and think that someone's going to come in and fix this. This is what I did with all my marriages, you know. Someone else was going to fix me, and I just got, you know, worse and worse and worse. You have to claim yourself. You have to fix yourself. You have to empower yourself. It's all on you to save you. In the universe, God is giving you this opportunity, but you have to see, you have to understand what and who you are. You have to understand you've got that part of God. That God is saving you because you are that part of God. Like, God, it is God saving itself. So, I don't know. It is very hard to think of ways to say things when, you know, like, there's this whole movement of, like, this kind of talk is like anti-Christ talk or something. It's empowerment. So the more you can empower yourself and, you know, and be here for the good, the positive, and to acknowledge your effect on other people, and to love yourself, and to not feel like other people have to love you so that you can love yourself. You can love yourself freely, and that other people, if they don't, you know, care about you, it doesn't matter. We can't hand over our power to all these people and let other people disappoint us. And we only do that because we don't have enough inside of us to feel good about ourselves, because we don't see ourselves clearly, because we see ourselves as these structures that we created. Just like, what religion are you? What job do you do? Like, what does that tell you anything about a person? Like, learn about you, who and what you are, and not built on these bullshit, you know, this agenda that they're constantly trying to create with this you know, possibly beyond this life, and, you know, life after life after life, this controlled environment. So, you know, break free from the system and claim your sovereignty and learn to love yourself. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Oh, she went to sleep.